Day one starting left tackle traits. I see them in Jalen Travis. Let's get it cracking. Yo, 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 no maniacs and super no maniacs and all in between. Welcome to another edition of Feed the Bears, or I feed you guys, the Bears, everything you need content wise, especially when it comes to this draft. Watching a lot of this tape, you know, it's these conversations that are being had out here about, what the Bears need to do at 10. Should they move? Should they keep the pick? Should they move up and get a surefire tackle or whatever it is that they're targeting? And some of the conversations are don't let, Will Campbell off the board and, move up if you have to get him, if you have to do that to get him. I don't necessarily subscribe to that mentality. Why? It's because not that I see something on tape that nobody else sees. It's not that at all. I think knowing what to look for when you're looking at the tape is more important than anything. And so, from my estimation, based on the things I've seen, especially this kid right here, Jalen Travis, and I apologize for the height and weight measurements here because I got that second part of it wrong. I got 341 on the screen. It's the opposite way around. It's 314. So I fudged that for you guys. But let me get right into what I mean by that. And so let me give you a little bit of background story on Jalen Travis. So Jalen Travis, now this hits me in a deep way, man, because in my professional life, I've always been in social services. That's all pretty much I've done. I ain't gonna say that's all I've done, but I spent a good amount of my adulthood doing a just social service work with people. And so he was raised in a household where his mom was a firm, like she was a social service activist. And basically where he came from was right around the corner in Minnesota where George Floyd was unalive. And so, his earliest memories are him and his mom and his siblings being dragged around in a little wagon that she's picketing, for workers' rights and things like that. And so compassion is in his heart. And so let me check that box for what kind of individual he is. You can see right away when you get away from the game film and see what kind of background that he has. He's a very compassionate young man. In fact, he already has a nonprofit that involves kids, like local kids and policing. And I forget the name of it right off the top of my head, but to have that as a college kid already, I think that's very impressive. He seems like a compassionate kid, man, and that's some people might say that if you do that kind of thing, man, you might have some kind of tendencies that to make a long story short, he has a switch. And so he can have that compassionate side and also have that physical, violent, aggressive side when he plays football. I myself had that. I'm a very compassionate guy when it comes to social services, and I'm pretty soft when it comes to people. But I had a trigger. When I put on a uniform, I'm different. I'm violent, and you can have both of those going on at the same time. It's not a problem. And so let's get into Jalen Travis's track record. Number one, he has a basketball background. And so you can see that right away in his foot movement. You got to be somewhat quick at the feet to play basketball, and he played it at a high level in high school. So let's get that out of the way. His athletic ability is on point for a guy his size is very, very good. And I heard somewhere that, that his anchor might be an issue. And so what I did, I've already seen I say 2.5 games. I think it was Iowa State, Iowa. And the last game that I saw was all of his reps against West Virginia. And so I watched the West Virginia reps before I did this video. And I kept seeing everything that I thought to confirm what I was thinking in the first place. I'm not going to say I don't see flaws because it was a time or two in that matchup against West Virginia. I saw a couple of pick stunts getting ran against him and the left guard. And he didn't recognize him, and the left guard didn't recognize him. So they kind of fudged that a couple times. And that's a fixable situation for any tackle. It's just coaching and getting used to certain reps and certain things that defenses do to you. So I don't see it as a problem. Other than that, man, the guy plays lockdown left tackle, and he's got position flexibility. So he spent 3 years at Princeton, the Ivy League school, and really he was playing under. He shouldn't have been there, but I can understand with a kid with his intelligence and I can understand why he went there, man. He's a very smart kid. But at some point, somebody told him, you know, if you really want to have a chance at the next level and to really compete and use football to get where you want to go to in life, you want to be a millionaire, multimillionaire, you need to go to the next level and play some football where it counts. And he went to, in his very last year, he went to Iowa State and just locked it down. And so him having that history of playing left and right tackle at Princeton, that's a certain level of football down there. I'm not putting that level of football down, but you need to show that you can play with the big boys up there. And I'm telling you, this kid is locked down, you guys. He is locked down. He is locked down. I see no real flaws in his game. I really don't, man. I think everything I see on film translates to a starting tackle, whether it be left tackle, right tackle, it doesn't matter. I think everything about this kid says day one starter if you want him to be, depending on where he goes. And so you're talking about an impressive tape to watch. When you're hearing people talk about this is a weak left tackle draft or tackle draft, I just never subscribe to that. Because what I see on film tells me a completely different story. Completely different story. This cat's going to be a steal. A straight up steal. I've seen several tackles in this draft class, and he stands out as one of the best that I've seen. I've heard people talk about his arm length. You can look at this graphic and tell he doesn't have an arm length problem. I think sometimes people that I guess do this for a living, they have to find things about somebody to make it, I guess, that evaluation complete when you're looking at the pros and cons and things like that. I think people just lay it on thick when it comes to that, because sometimes it's just really nothing bad that you can really say about a kid. I can't really think of nothing bad I could say about this kid when I seen it on tape. Asked one of my offensive lineman buddies to look at it, and they was just like, man, this kid's got flawless technique. His kick slide, amazing for a kid his age. You know, it might take a grizzled veteran 7-8 years to get the kick slide that he has already. I mean, great. It's like, and don't discount how aggressive this cat is in the run game. He's gonna run you over. He's gonna move people around. If you need to move left for a seal for a running back lane to go through, you're gonna move left. If he wants you to move back, you're gonna move back. Whatever he needs to do, blocking the initial block and getting to the second level, flawless. Foot quickness, speed. He does it all. And he's gonna be on somebody's board when they didn't reach to go and get one of these, you know, the Will Campbells of the world and the, you know, Banks of the world. I forget his name. Was Kelvin Banks, whatever. People, I don't think there's no reason in the world why the Bears would have to necessarily move up to get a tackle if that's what they're targeting. They don't need to, in my opinion. I think there's some really, really good tackles, and Jalen Travis is one of them. I'm very, very impressed with what I see on film with him, and I had to stop. And I know I just talked about him the other night on Friday night on we were looking at the prospects, and I just had to stop and solo him out and give him his just due. And I think this guy's a lockdown day one NFL starting tackle on any team he needs to be that on. Definitely if he came to the Bears, I think you can plug him and play him right now. I think his technique is pretty flawless for a kid at this. I mean, it's just really, really fun tape to watch. I'm not saying go and watch 2 and 3 games, you guys. But I'm going to say, if you want to look at, there's a video out there where all you have to do is type in Iowa State O-line versus West Virginia D-line. And there's probably about 10, 11, 12-minute tape out there where you can watch every last one of his reps in that game. And you can come back in the comment section and tell me what you thought of it. But just take some time and go check him out and let me know what you think. But I am really, really impressed with this kid. I would love to see him in the Chicago Bears uniform. And that's what I got for right now. Hopefully I'll get a couple more videos out today, because I'm going to really try to kick it in high gear when it comes to these prospects, because I know you guys want to hear about them. I'm telling you, some really nice football players in here. We're going to have a lot of options in this draft. And so I'm going to start working my butt off, start getting some of these videos out here. Some of these guys I haven't spoken about, excuse me, get some videos out about them. But hey, if you're new to the channel and you like this new content and you want to see it coming, then hit the subscribe button, because I will keep cranking it out. But that's all I got for right now. I'm going to get out of here and leave you guys with these famous words. Excuse me. If you can think it and you can see it, there's no reason in the world why you cannot absolutely manifest it. Do not, and I repeat, do not be a prisoner of your own mind. But with that being said, we are